This is Tech Me As I Am, a video series and podcast where self-love is shaking up the status quo of corporate America. We're diving into authentic stories that are creating space for you to feel seen, be vulnerable, and succeed working in the everyday. So let's be real, let's be different, and let's get courageous, y'all.
Hey everybody, my name is Torrance Evans. I'm a software engineer. I'm the chapter leader of Black Boys Code, and I'm the founder of Access Point, and we're just here to talk about my journey into tech. Hope it helps.
All right, Torrance. So we are here because of a journey that you have. It's a special journey. I've known you for a few years, and you broke into tech. You wanted to be a software developer and get into the space of tech, and you did. Before you got to that point, I met you, and I really just admire your resilience. I really admire, what you stand for, how you give back to the communities. And so what I want to do is have you introduce yourself, kind of talk a little bit about like who you are, what you stand for, and then we'll jump in.
Okay. Well, like you said, I'm Torrance Evans. I'm a software engineer. I lead an organization called Black Boys Code in Atlanta. It's many chapters around, but I lead the Atlanta chapter. I started an organization called Access Point, where I just, send out networking events to people trying to break into tech or people trying to just network. And that's how I got in, was networking. So just kind of wanted to extend that.
Yeah. And the power of the network is truly something special. I think it's something that people say, like, your network is your net worth. I think you did a really good job at being able to figure out how to do that. What made you want to get into tech in the first place? Like, what was it that pushed you?
I moved here about a couple years ago, Atlanta, about 5 years ago. I was just pursuing entrepreneurship. I ran a couple businesses, a car rental company. I was doing some real estate, Airbnb, and all of it was kind of just hustling to me. So I started meeting a bunch of people in tech here. It's not really a thing where I'm from, so I started meeting a bunch of people in tech and a lot of Black professionals, and so I felt like I could do it too. And it was just a means for me to just fund, business, because I really want to do business on a high level. That was my thought process then, and still now. So I felt like tech was the best option to go.
Yeah, I agree. I'm coming from that space as well. Tech me as I am, but what we're here for too is to create more of a vulnerable space, right? Being Black in tech is hard. Being Black anywhere is hard. But being somewhere that it doesn't have a lot of people that look like you, may come like daunting, maybe like something that's different, very overwhelming. You're having to learn something so different, to push yourself to see new levels, to see new heights. So one, I want to kind of call out like your resilience and being able to see how you have pushed yourself to manifest your dreams. I actually was able to see living proof of you being able to do that. So I want to first say, I'm proud of you, and you're doing it, and then you're giving back. Black Boys Who Code. What is pushing you? What do you feel like pushed you to get you to say, tech is what it is. I'm willing to push myself to try something different. What do you think fueled you to be able to push yourself to get there?
I think, one, I'm just very ambitious. I kind of have high hopes for myself, high aspirations for myself. And I just felt like just being a professional, or being, known for your intelligence and how smart someone might perceive you to be, but just being known for, using your mind was really something that I wanted to pursue. Because I grew up playing sports. Basketball was, everything as a kid, but playing basketball, I learned other things about life. Yeah, I just think that's really why I pursued it. I just felt like I could learn anything. So, does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. And I know that, when we had talked just the other day, you had mentioned like you had to go through certain things to kind of get to where you're at. And I think one of the biggest things that I want to create and make space for is like the real, right? The raw, the like, you know, it looks great when people are there, but we don't talk about the journey and getting there, right? And it requires a level of being able to be transparent and vulnerable. And so I know you and I had a discussion about that a little bit. And I want to know, like, what did it take for you to have to get to the point? You know, what did you have to sacrifice to get? Because those are things that are embedded in you that allowed you to have that strength to continue to push forward, maybe when you felt like giving up. You know, what did you have to go through in your journey?
I mean, well, when I made a decision, I mean, you know, I did a lot of self-studying. I had to learn how to code. I learned how to code like by myself. And then I got into a boot camp. Because I mean, when I started, I didn't really, like I told you, I didn't really know how hard it was. So there was a lot of delusion, which kind of helped me in the end, but I didn't really know how hard it was. I just felt like I can learn how to code, I can get a job. So it's not really that easy, but so I figured that it was hard. So then I said, I probably need to find a way in. So a boot camp was a good credential to put on your resume, anything like that. So I got into a boot camp, which I was blessed with that because I didn't have to pay for it.
I was gonna say, 'cause those are expensive.
Yeah. So I got blessed with that. And then, yeah, I got into the boot camp, and it was Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day. So you really couldn't do anything else with your life.
I was gonna say, like, so you got the boot camp, you didn't have to pay for it, so that helps. But like your regular day to day, like how do you manage that? Like, because people be working 9 to 5s and like.
Well, okay, so like I told you, I was in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I had about maybe 7 cars that I was running, but I couldn't really do both. I know I was trying to transition out of it anyway, so I had another friend who was also in the business, and so I really just gave him all my cars, and then he paid me. You know, we split it, and I just used that money to live. That's all it was. That's all I could use it for, was to live. And then I think I would drive Uber at night. Yeah, miss a lot of meals, you know, or not miss, but I didn't eat the best, but
You thugged it out.
but I thugged it out, yeah.
Yeah, and you pushed through. And, you know, I've been in situations like that myself, you know, growing up. I have 4 kids, so it was hard. I was on cash aid, I was on food stamps, I was doing whatever I needed to do to survive, right? And it makes it hard sometimes, but when you have like a thing in your mind where it's like, I know I need to get to this next point, you know, your eyes so focused on the prize to make sure you're not just provide for yourself, but people who need you, you know. Do you feel like there were things that when you were going through things that you gave yourself or helped you process dealing with, like, hey man, like I don't got it right now, so I might not be able to eat right now, or I might not be able to pay this bill right now? Like, were there things that you had to deal with or cope with as you're trying to get into this space? I mean, this is a sacrifice you're basically doing to get to somewhere you're manifesting. So you have to keep telling yourself something every day.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I just felt like it was just a necessary road you had to take. I mean, look at everybody successful. You know, they had to go through something. You had to get through something. So I just felt like this was my thing to get through. I'm sure there'll be other things coming down the line that I have to get through too. So I don't think it ever stopped. But I mean, I was confident that I would get there because I wasn't going to quit. That's the only outcome, is to get there. So, and then I'm a believer. My faith is a big makeup of who I am. So that was a big component. And yeah, I just felt like I just needed to get to this step. If I get to this step, then, you know, it's a domino effect.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah. And I think that if you get to a point where you're pushing through, you've told yourself that you're going to make sure that you do what you have to do to get there. You set your eye on the prize and you're like, this is what I have to do. Do you feel like as you are giving back to the kids, you know, Black boys who code, who are going through life's challenges, right? Being a Black person in America is hard, right? It's all kinds of things. And being a Black man in America, you know, is really hard. What do you feel like you learned in your journey that you instill in the kids that are trying to make it? Because you're pouring a bit of yourself back into them.
Oh.
Like, what hits hard for you to help them?
My thought process is that I know I'm not like, even my manager told me, you don't look like the typical engineer. So I feel like that's to my advantage too. Like when I go, meet the kids or I'm in front of the kids, I like that I don't look like that. Cause then you could be like, if he look like I could be an engineer too, then. So I think that's a big thing. And then, just exposing to things I didn't know. If I felt like if I would have learned about something like this when I was younger, I'd be pretty well off.
Yeah. Well, you're well off now too, though,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
you're still giving back.
So I think that's the big thing is that anybody can do it or things like that.
Yeah. Um, what are the things that like the kids are asking you? Like do you notice like versions of you in like the little boys that are doing things? Like do you notice things that it's like, dang, I went through that too, or I mean,
And well, surprisingly, not really because a lot of them are very smart.
really?
Like they put me on the stuff, so
Really?
I'm really just there facilitating. They're like very advanced. Um, yeah, I mean, if a kid is misbehaving or like doing too much, then I see myself. But other than that,
Okay. I mean, talk to me a little bit about that. So as a kid, you said misbehaving and stuff like that. Like for me, I got ADHD. I found out I was the one I was talking in class all the time. I was always getting in trouble, and I'm seeing that now in my boys. Like my kid over here, like I'm dealing with that right now. Do you feel like how were you as a kid, and do you feel like some of those things played to your advantage as you got older?
I mean, as a kid, I was just very mischievous.
Mhm.
I just did a lot of things I wasn't supposed to do. Um, but I grew out of that maybe like at high school.
Okay.
In high school, I was grown, but I was just doing a lot, getting into a lot, wanting to play all the time.
Uh-huh.
People can't believe that I used to get in trouble for talking as an adult now because I'm pretty chill. But
I mean, yeah, you come off so like laid back and chill. So you used to talk all the time when
yeah,
you're
I used to be just a class,
class
just do a
clown.
lot,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of whoopings helped me. But
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay. Okay. Um, so you're in the spaces that you're in now, right? You're coding, you're giving back to the community. What are things that you think are helping you as you're thinking more about your mental health right now, right? Like when things get really hard, what are things that you're pouring into yourself to help you get through some of the things that you deal with on an everyday? Because when you're in these spaces, like you're by yourself, right? Like, you got to cope, you got to deal with certain things. Are there things that you feel like you go through where it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this to like self-soothe, or I'm gonna do this to help me like press through it? Because you're doing something to get you where you're at today, What's that superpower?
I mean, I think it's a lot about perspective. I mean, a lot of things I see like at work or something like that. It doesn't really amount to things I've seen in my past, or stuff like that. So I mean, every day I feel like I'm blessed, whatever's going on at work. So this minor. It's like the problems ain't really problems to me. I still,
Because you've gone through worse,
yeah, I
basically.
still wake up. I still get paid. I mean, the problems ain't really problems. And then, like I said, my faith is strong, so that's definitely a foundation and a help to me. Yeah, but I think it's perspective. I mean, and gratitude and thankfulness. But yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like I stress too much.
When you say perspective,
Hmm.
and you're going through, what you're going through, so you've seen worse. And it sounds like you're doing like a compare and contrast. Like, I've gone through this, so like this isn't that bad.
Hmm.
What what do you feel like makes you go to that place where it's like, okay, this is what's gonna help me get to this point, this next point? Like, do you feel like it is something that you have like you understand more about yourself that has allowed you to like keep pushing forward? I mean, I'm just trying to think, like, what do you think it is for our listeners? Because people are going to try to learn from you. People are going to try to understand your struggle. People are going to try to understand, like, what you've had to deal with. Because being somebody in the Black community, like it's hard. It's really, really hard. And, you know, struggle is real. It is every day, even when we're at work. What do you feel like what can you give as examples of things you've had to go through that you've told yourself like it's not that bad, or what are things that because something's keeping you grounded? I know you said your faith too, but
I think it's just, well, things like just struggling at work. I mean, because I'm a new engineer. So I'm at a big company where people have been doing things for this stuff for 20 years, or they started as a kid and now they're 40 and these are my teammates,
yeah.
and a lot of things go over my head and a lot of things I have to learn for the first time, stuff like that, or feel like I'm in a pressurized situation. So things like that happen. I said to myself, this is not really pressure. At the end of the day, you might be happy with it, you might not, but I'm still gonna figure it out, you
Yeah.
know. And I think that's something I built up like a superpower. I was like, I know how to figure things out.
Yeah.
So that, does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. And I think when you said like you know how to figure things out, and you know you're feeling pressure. Like there's this thing that I used to watch by Brene Brown. She calls them FFTs, which is a first fucking time, basically. So I have to bleep that out. But but basically like you're in a first time of something. So you're gonna feel uncomfortable. You're gonna feel like, what you're dealing with it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel normal. Sometimes imposter syndrome might set in, but you don't let it, But exactly, it's every day. But like there's something that you're telling yourself to continue going, and those are the things that allow you to learn. Those are the things that allow you to grow, because you grow through what you go through. And, I think that when we're in times like these where we have people losing their jobs, people are being pushed out of work, we've got AI doing a lot of different things, we have to find a way to have the mental fortitude to push through the things that we already know are hard. And so, as we're thinking about the journey and learning from each other, I just want to make sure that our people have the tools that they need to get through those things, because it's hard.
Yeah, I think something that I'm realizing that really kind of helped me is like from like a kid, like just, playing games with my uncles and cousins, that like quitting was the worst thing you could do. So I kind of took that like there's so many situations in my life where only good thing I did was not quit, and everything worked out, So I just apply that to everything, like just keep going, like only outcome is for you to figure it out.
Right. And I keep hearing that you don't know, but the other guests that we've had on the show, everyone's saying the same thing. It's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
It's not giving up. It's continuing to go. Even when shit gets hard, even when you feel like you're not doing it right, you're still learning and you're still figuring out on the journey. And I think, when we do quit, I've quit so many different things in the past. And I'm like, man, I don't ever see, like, why am I not getting where I need to get? I need to pivot. I need to do this. Pivoting is different than quitting. But I think to your point, like you didn't give up. How long were you doing, like saying you wanted to be a software engineer?
I think for about a year or like maybe 6 months to a year, I was like kind of self-teaching. And then I did a boot camp. I got into a boot camp, and the boot camp was like 4 months.
Okay.
And then after that, it was like a year just, trying to find a job, going to networking events, making posts on LinkedIn. That's another thing. I was just putting stuff on there. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but
you were hustling. You were out in the trenches though. Like I remember, I was like, dang, he is like on it. Like he's making sure.
I was failing so many interviews. I was like, I might as well just put something on LinkedIn and make it look like I'm doing something. It's just like, so that's why and I was like, I probably just need to meet at least one person today who can help me maybe a year from now.
Yeah.
So
what do you feel like it was? Was it the post that got you where you're at now? Like, were you just forcing yourself to be in different situations? Like, okay, I need to be in this room. I need to go here.
I think the social media aspect, it kind of helps outside of like professional, or, like it helps me like, get in rooms or meet new people. It just gives you kind of like a notoriety a little bit. I mean, if you want to call it that. Uh, I think professionally it was just like meeting people because every time I met someone, it point me to another direction or something else. Like that's how I found out about the boot camps because I met someone who told me about this girl on LinkedIn who posts opportunities, and then she posted one that I took advantage of, you know.
Yeah.
So and then just going, it was just like a domino effect,
Right.
because I just kept going to stuff, I had nothing else to do, so I just kept going to stuff, and yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't give up. And that's the thing that I keep hearing most people say.
But yeah, that's kind of why I do like just a little side stuff because I know like everybody's not like me. Um, I mean, that's one thing. Like I said, I know like everybody's not gonna be as resilient as me or be as, just hustle like me. So I try to create ways for people to get in because I mean, we could do this stuff.
Yeah.
This is what I mean, when I, figured out how to code, I said, you just gotta sit there and look at it a little while. You'll figure it out. But I think a lot of people psych themselves out. Like every time I meet people, they say, wow, you're so smart. And I'm like, you could do it too. I mean, that's not really. So yeah.
So you're from Peoria, Illinois, and there were things that you had to go through. Were there traps? Were there things that could have caught you and things could have been different? Like, how did you grow up? Like, what was,
I mean, I had a nice childhood. I
okay.
mean, grew up with lived with my mom a little bit, lived with my grandmother some too growing up. I spent most of the like growing up with my grandma. Um, and I mean, we had a nice life. I mean, we wasn't rich, but we wasn't poor. But I mean, there's always opportunity. I think anywhere you live to go a different route. Um, but there's a testament to who raised me, my uncles and my grandmother and my mother. So yeah, but I think it's a small city, small town, so it's easy to be stuck there. And then I think a disadvantage is you're not really exposed to everything that's out here in the world. So when I moved to Atlanta, I learned so much about what was out here or what I missed. So I think that was probably the biggest thing. I just wasn't exposed to much.
Yeah. And did you push yourself to come out here? Like, what was it? What was the move for?
Really to just, I mean, spread my wings, like just try to see what I could make of myself.
So you're just like, let me find something. It's gonna be Atlanta.
Well, my mom lived here when I was younger, and I lived here. And then I just felt like Atlanta was a good place for Black people, trying to do something with their life.
Yeah.
So my best friend lived here. He was already living here, so which made it easy for me to come here and see networking. Well, it wasn't really networking, but
Yeah.
my boy, he already had a condo for me. So,
Okay.
and I lived in a condo and started there.
Okay. Is there anything that you feel you could say to somebody that could help them, like push them to go after their dreams or push someone to say, hey, you can defy the odds? Something that you maybe even want to tell the little boy version of yourself too.
I mean, I think one thing I'm learning right now is like don't try to do everything with the end in mind. Like you just handle what's in front of you, and you never know what it will turn into. If you have any goals or dreams, I think something that kind of like just made me stagnant was trying to figure out whatever I do would be in the future instead of just eating what's on your plate right here. Because you don't really, I mean, it's not really productive to worry about seconds when you got the plate right in front of you. Um, that's a thing that I would say. Really just take care of what's in front of you and then, the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. And that's another common theme I'm hearing. So it's like a form of being present, not trying to always think about the end goal, but being present and enjoying the process in which you're going through on your journey so that you can manifest and continue walking on that road. Well, I appreciate you. So we're going to do a couple of rapid fire questions. So, this is to kind of give people an opportunity to learn, kind of think about some things, to educate themselves and just kind of get to know you better. So the first question is, when you feel like you're about to either crash out, when you feel like, your mind is not in a place that it needs to be in, but you need to like self-soothe, what are the things that you do to get your mind back into like go mode and being able to like continue going?
I think I'm a pretty good regulator. I think something I always tell myself it's not really as bad as it may feel, or it's not really as bad as it seems, which really always proves to be true, to me in my life. But if I really get there, I mean, sometimes just gotta pray, and then I don't know. I think I don't really get to like,
You never get like allow yourself to get to a certain point.
yeah, I don't really get to, off my rocker.
Yeah. So okay. So what I'm hearing is when you do kind of start feeling stirred is self-talk, right? You're being positive and you're giving yourself affirmations, and then you're staying grounded in your faith and being able to kind of like push through those things.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other question is, if you are listening to any podcasts or books or anything that you feel like changed your life that you can set on a course for someone else, what would you say?
Man, it's a lot. Uh, Changed my life. In what ways?
In any way?
Anyway.
It doesn't even have to be a career, it's just life in general, because this is who you are, so it allows you to propel yourself in your career.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's see. I mean, all I do is consume information. So let me think. Off the top of my head, I would say probably Earn Your Leisure, Wall Street Trapper, a lot of money stuff.
Okay.
What else?
A podcast, it could be a podcast, it could be a show, it could be just something that you know.
Oh, I don't know if you know this guy. His name is Jason Wilson, but he's like a really like he just talks a lot about being a man and how to just grow as a man. I watch a lot of his stuff, and I know I'm missing somebody, but off the top of my head, it would be that
Okay. And then,
money and just being a better man.
okay. Okay. And then, I think that's it. So we got money, the book, the Earn Your Leisure stuff. Jason
Wilson.
Wilson. Okay. And does he have like a podcast or?
I mean, he does a lot of content. I'm surprised you don't know him, but I guarantee if you look him up, you'll be like, oh, I know it's.
Okay.
He's like a just a sound spiritual guy.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. So I love everything that you've told us when it comes to the resilience, the things that you've had to give yourself to get to where you need to be. I thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Man, honestly, it was a pleasure. And then,
Seen who you had on here.
huh?
I saw who you had on here, so
Try. No, honestly, it's really about us learning as a community, creating the ecosystems, because the knowledge we all have collectively is going to help us all grow. So, but thank you again for being on the show. And until next time, y'all. Until next time.